Okay, so let's take a look at some definitions of a circle. So if we have a circle, we know we have the dot in the center. And then we have something called a radius, a line that goes from the center to the outside. Print off the notes, look at the definitions in the notes. Now, we have something called a chord. A line that runs from one edge of the circle to another edge of the circle that doesn't go through the center, called a chord. We know that the chord that goes through the center is called the diameter. Now, the curved part is called an arc. Okay, so let's take a circle with a angle in the center. Let's call it theta. Looks like a circle with a slash through it. If you want to put the little rounded thing, go for it, whichever. We call that a central angle. I forgot my dot in the center. We call it a central angle because it's at the center. And it has an arc. Whoops. So now let's draw an angle on the side, theta. Theta, a circle with a slash through it, a Greek letter for an angle. You could put happy face or a letter or anything you want there. So let's shade the arc. Now this angle is on the side of the circle. It's called an inscribed angle. And those are the two types of angles that we are going to be using for now. So let's take a look at identifying an angle. So if we have a circle and a central angle like we talked about above, it's going to be very helpful for you to use your left hand, get your thumb out of the way, and make a piece of pie with your left hand. Right hand, get your thumb out of the way, with your left and your right hand. You can clearly see where theta is, so we want to shade the arc. Now you may not need to use your hands, I just think it's helpful. So when doing an inscribed angle, theta, we want to find the arc, so we're going to get our left thumb out of the way and put it perfectly to it. Get our right thumb out of the way and put it perfectly to it. Better in the notes, left hand, right hand. So we can clearly see the angle directly between our two index fingers, and our index fingers run along the sides of the chords. Then we want to shade the arc. We want to be able to identify the arc. The arc is very important. Okay, down below, let's take a look at a triangle with an inscribed angle here and an inscribed angle here. Now, where's the arc? Well, use your hands and notice that I'm going to identify theta in both locations. And now we want to shade the arc. So I'm going to erase theta. Excuse me. I'm just going to erase theta and give it an angle like 30 degrees. And if it comes from the same arc, we know that inscribed angles from the same arc are equal to each other. So another way that could have been drawn is an inscribed angle and another inscribed angle. And let's call the inscribed, I'm going to do that again. And let's call the inscribed angles 20 this time. And if the arcs are equal, represented by a tick, then we know the angles are equal. So I'm going to read the English instructions from the notes. Inscribed angles from the same or equal arcs are equal. So if you can identify where the arc is, and they either come from the same arc or different equal arcs, we know the angles are the same. Okay, another circle. Let's go for a central angle. and an inscribed angle. So I'm going to zoom in. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to put 80 and 40. I'm going to identify where the arc is and shade it using my hands to find it like we did above. And here we know that central angles are twice inscribed angles if they come from the same arc. Or inscribed angles are half central angles if they come from the same arc. So the central angle is going to be double what the inscribed angle is if they come from the same arc. Our last rule, if we have the center and we have equal arcs represented by ticks, we know that the angles are equal. So very important, being able to identify where the arc is. Shade the arc and then use the rule in the notes. I'm going to read the rules again. Starting from the left. Inscribed angles from the same arc are equal. Inscribed angles from equal arcs are equal. It's literally exactly the same rule from the left. Central angles are twice inscribed angles, or vice versa. Inscribed angles are half central angles. And central angles from the same arc are equal. Great. So remember, we have all of these rules all on the review sheet, all at the end, at the beginning of the chapter on the website. So watch it first or watch it after, but remember, it's there for you. Now remember, make your own. Make your own.